You think you know Dracula? Forget the fangs and the folklore. We are exposing the real monster, Vlad the Impaler, and the Islamic history they desperately want you to ignore. This is the shocking truth about his bloody war against Sultan Al-Fatih. Let's dive in.
Okay, let's just jump right in. When I say the name Dracula, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For most of us, it's a very specific image, one that's been haunting our popular culture for over 100 years.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's something like this, right? The vampire, the bat, that big spooky castle up in Transylvania. This is the Dracula that Bram Stoker gave us way back in his 1897 novel, A Creature of the Night, feeding on the blood of the living.
But here's the thing. What if I told you the real man who inspired that legend wasn't fiction at all? And that his true story, a story deeply tangled up with the history of the Ottoman Empire, is actually somehow way more horrifying than any vampire myth?
To really get to the bottom of this, we have to peel back more than a century of fiction and separate the myth we all know from the actual historical man.
And when you put them side by side, the difference is just stark. The myth gives us a vampire from Transylvania. The man was a real 15th century prince from a neighboring region called Wallachia. That's in modern-day Romania. The mythical Dracula sucks blood to survive. The real one? He used a gruesome execution method called impalement as a tool of pure psychological terror. And he wasn't fighting vampire hunters, no. He was in a brutal, all-out war with one of the biggest superpowers on the planet at the time, the Ottoman Empire.
So, who was this guy? To figure that out, we have to go back to the very beginning, to where he got that infamous name in the first place. It all starts with his dad, Vlad II. He was part of a Christian knightly order called the Order of the Dragon, which was set up to defend the region from Ottoman expansion. Because of this, he got the title Dracul, which literally means the dragon. So the name Dracula just means son of the dragon. Kinda cool, right? The legendary name has nothing to do with horror, it's from a real-world military order.
And this is where his life takes this unbelievable turn. To make sure his father stayed loyal, a young Vlad Dracula and his brother Radu were taken as royal hostages by the Ottoman Sultan. But they weren't just locked in a tower. They got an elite education and military training in the Janissary Corps, the Sultan's most feared soldiers. And in an insane twist of fate, Vlad trained right alongside the very man he would later fight, the future Sultan Mehmed II, the Conqueror of Constantinople. Then, after Vlad's father was killed by rivals, the Ottomans actually sent Vlad back to Wallachia to take the throne, figuring, hey, he'll be our loyal puppet. But Vlad, he had other plans. His return to power wasn't about loyalty. It was the beginning of a reign of terror that would earn him a new, much more famous name, Vlad the Impaler. Yeah, instead of serving the empire that trained him, Vlad flipped the script. He used every bit of his knowledge of Ottoman tactics to consolidate his own power and whip up hatred against them. He started this absolutely ruthless campaign of revenge, not just against the Ottomans, but against pretty much anyone who got in his way.
And his signature method was called Sula. And look, this was not a quick execution. It was a slow, meticulous process designed for maximum suffering and maximum horror. The stake was carefully pushed through the body to miss the vital organs, which meant the victim could stay alive in agony for 1, sometimes 2 days, all while being displayed in public as a terrifying warning. And Vlad would use this horrifying method to send his ultimate message, aimed directly at the new Sultan, his old childhood companion, Mehmed the Conqueror.
It all kicked off with what you might call a diplomatic incident. A group of Ottoman envoys arrived to collect taxes. Vlad's response was to have them all impaled, turning their bodies into a gruesome warning right on his border. This was a clear act of rebellion.
So, Sultan Mehmed wasn't happy, to say the least. He sent a force of 1,000 soldiers to go and restore order, probably thinking this would be a quick and easy job.
But Vlad, using the very military tactics he learned from the Ottomans, ambushed and completely wiped out the entire force. And he didn't stop there. He used the bodies of all 1,000 of those soldiers to create something truly monstrous. I mean, the scale of this terror is just hard to even comprehend. When Sultan Mehmed's main army finally arrived, they weren't met by enemy soldiers. They were met with a man-made forest of impaled corpses, a sight so horrifying it was specifically designed to break the morale of even the most battle-hardened troops.
The Sultan now understood the kind of monster he was up against, and he realized that to defeat Vlad, he was going to need a very unique weapon.
He decided to send the only person alive who knew Vlad as well as he did, Vlad's own younger brother, Radu, who had stayed loyal to the Ottomans. Radu had the exact same Janissary training, knew the same tactics, and understood his brother's mind completely. The Sultan was literally sending a dragon to fight a dragon.
So now, Vlad was massively outnumbered, but for a while, his military brilliance and his guerrilla tactics actually let him hold off this much bigger army. In the end, though, the numbers were just too much. And in a tragic clash between brothers, Vlad Dracula was finally defeated by Radu's forces.
So how is this incredibly brutal, complicated figure remembered today? Well, that depends entirely on who you ask.
In his home country of Romania, many people see Vlad Dracula as a national hero. A brutal ruler, yes, but a necessary one, who fiercely defended his homeland from a massive empire. He's a symbol of resistance. But for the rest of the world, thanks to Stoker's book and his own well-documented atrocities, he is simply a monster, the ultimate symbol of cruelty.
Now, the source material for this explainer offers a very clear perspective on this. It argues that from a historical point of view, it was the Ottoman Empire that actually put a stop to a great evil in Europe. It suggests that this whole context gets stripped out of Western movies, which often paint Vlad as some kind of tragic hero. And it makes one final critical distinction. Unlike other tyrants who might build empires or roads, Vlad's cruelty served no one but himself. He brutally taxed and terrorized his own people for personal wealth, with no benefit to his nation at all.
Which leaves all of us with a really difficult question. When we look back at figures like this, what are the lines we draw? And who gets to decide which side of that line they fall on, the monster or the hero?
The true history is often the most terrifying. If you were shocked by Vlad's brutality and his human fence, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash the like button, share this video to spread the untold facts, and subscribe to Eternal Mirage for more deep dives into hidden history. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.